gets an award. Oh, the street's been buzzing, man. Apparently a lot of people unearthed a lot of videos of Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein, and people are asking the questions. I know we can't ask questions about Jay, but people are intrigued, and I know we won't get any answers, but people want to know, what was the nature of the relationship between Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein? There's a bunch of videos circulating on social media today that include Jay-Z with Harvey Weinstein, including one that kind of stuck out to a lot of people where Jay-Z's asked a question and Harvey Weinstein, kind of cuts the interview off and kind of answers for Jay, and people are saying, this is kind of a little bit odd. Like, what really was their relationship? Watch this video.
In your thoughts on Donald Trump and what it means for mass incarceration.
You know what? This is a labor of love for Jay, and as a result,
look at Jay's face. He's panicking.
He's my friend. We're here to talk about that.
That's your friend.
And nothing else.
Then can I ask you about
this is 2017
mass incarceration? And do you think the movement is okay?
I never knew that Jay knew Harvey Weinstein like that. What Kendrick say? What moving flocks? Let me see. Jay used to be kicking with Diddy, Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly. Nah, that's coincidence. That's coincidence. Let's see. Can we see any videos? Oh, there's a video of them sitting next to each other. He was really good friends with Weinstein. How come somebody bring this up? This is a tweet from 2020. Interesting.
Well, if anything like that happens, if that happens to one kid, any place that can happen to any kid should be closed.
Your thoughts on Donald Trump and what it means for Marcy?
It does kind of give Handler vibes, but you never know. Maybe he's just a good friend, right? Maybe he's just a good friend.
Hey, they all know it. It's a mess.
For those who were never at these freak-off parties, what were they like?
See, this is the thing. Everything that I'm about to say to you is not my firsthand knowledge. It is my firsthand witness account experience. I was a sex worker. I was a dominatrix before I got my record deal. That's how I know how the dark world and the sex world and the entertainment world run hand in hand. That's why the movie Blink Twice is so important. Salute
nice plug.
To Zoe Kravitz. The sex workers that I have worked with throughout the years and continue to work with even to this day have worn hidden cameras.
What?
I have my own tapes. I've seen what they do. The ritualistic behaviors, the drugging.
What?
Putting girls in the suitcases. Dumping them in alleyways. It's horrifying. And it's all done under the protection of this is going to be paid off. There's another NDA. This is going to be, it's terrible.
It seems to have been something that a lot of people knew about, but people were simply too scared to talk about.
Everyone knows. And every person that's sitting there trying to act surprised knows very well.
Knows well.
The whole point of this, like Cat Williams said when he sat with Shay Shay earlier this year, the whole point of this is for them in a coordinated effort to pretend like none of it is real for the public's perception. But everyone knows what's going on, and it's been going on for years. It's been going on before Diddy. See, people keep looking at him like he's the Sputnik that came out of nowhere. This is someone who was designed to be what he is. We got to stop making Diddies. And if we're going to do that, then we got to go back. We got to go back to even further, the mentors of these people. Because Diddy was taught how to do what he does systematically, and Clyde Davis has been his greatest teacher.
Say what?
seen Jay close to Harvey Weinstein.
Nah, Jay wasn't cool with no Harvey Weinstein.
Right? Him and Harvey Weinstein got... Harvey Weinstein has Jay-Z's rights for television and movies.
What?
You knew that?
No, I was
Jay-Z sold his life rights to Harvey Weinstein.
So, I don't think Jay has been secretive about him being just the ultimate capitalist. But you
It was just business. Come on now.
think it's deeper than just money?
Yeah, because he signed up for something that he can't get out of.
Old footage of Jay-Z and Weinstein. Maybe this was the only seat left. He had to sit next to the guy. Yo, you know what, chat? I think I'm changing my tune. I'm about to start defending Jay. Yeah, come on. This is coincidence. The hell? Straight up, coincidence.
You're the only one who ever yelled at me and got away with it. And I take it any time from you. I want to see him get it too.
It's been going. We got to go back. We got to go.
I don't know. Yeah, I think they're lying on Jay-Z. This AI. This is a fake picture, right? What the hell is this? That's not Harvey Weinstein. Yeah. Now, we're going to go down a rabbit hole a little bit of this Epstein files. Did y'all hear about the Bill Gates stuff? We're going to get into the Bill Gates lore, and then we will get into the Trump lore. And for the people who say, oh, I get up, nigga, we talk about anybody, nigga, what the fuck would I look like? Them other niggas with Jay? Anybody who up in that list we talking about. I ain't say they did nothing, but we going to talk about that. What are you talking about? I don't know these niggas like that. Here we go. I don't want to pull up these things myself, so isn't there a good commentary that covered it? Oh, here we go. Bro, we need some good we need some good breakdown. So I do know with Epstein and Bill Gates supposedly asked Epstein for STD medications because allegedly he caught an STD from a Russian woman, and if you don't know, he's married, and he felt he transmitted the disease to his woman or his wife, so he wanted to give her antibiotics, but without telling her that he was fucking off on the side. So he wanted to kind of like really drug his girl or drug his wife into taking antibiotics to get her cured up from whatever she may have contracted from him because he was with prostitutes, okay? Here we go. Let me see. Do we don't have a good video on this shit? Like, what's up? Oh, sup? Come on, man. Nah, we want a deep dive. Pause. Epstein, Bill Gates, STD. Straight up. Let's get to it.
Truth or fake means Vedeka beheld by the bit board. Vedeka, good evening.
Nah, we not about to listen to all that fast talking shit, man. Get out of here, nigga. Get the fuck on out of there. Here we go. Maybe this is it.
When you read these news articles with these details.
Oh, that's Bill. Oh, that's his wife, Melinda Gates. Oh, shit. That nigga was a creepy nigga, man. A little freaky boy. Okay, here we go.
In the new Epstein files that were just released, there are allegations made against Bill Gates, and he actually just responded to them today as well. So I'm going to show you what his foundation responded. And the allegations are alleging, or the allegations state that Bill Gates actually requested antibiotics from Jeffrey Epstein because he was concerned, Bill Gates was concerned that he had an STD and he wanted to give the antibiotics discreetly to his wife, Melinda Gates, at the time. So this is a really long email, and it's actually Jeffrey Epstein. I'm going to go ahead and click one of the emails so I can show it to you guys. Keep in mind, though, this email is Jeffrey Epstein.
Fuck all that, man. Let me pull up myself, bro. Like, we got to break this shit down. And yes, we're going to do the same thing for Trump. Don't you worry. So for all the people who be like, yo, I could be protecting Trump. Who am I protecting, man? You're a grown-ass man. Robbie Starbuck. Okay, here we go. Let's find this document. I gotta just search a tweet, I guess. Epstein emails Jeffrey sent STDs Russian hookers. I'll find it and put it up here. We gonna read this bitch through. Facts. Here we go. All right, so in the Epstein documents from the DOJ that they put out, they said Jeffrey Epstein sent himself emails memorializing a fight he had with Bill Gates. In it, he says Bill Gates caught STDs from Russian hookers and asked Jeffrey for antibiotics that Bill could secretly give to Melinda without her noticing. Now, it's important, it says Jeffrey sent these emails to himself. So it looked like Jeffrey was basically like, you know, kind of reminding himself, or maybe this was blackmail. He was just kind of like, now, let me save this in case feds ever come in. They're going to, when they go through my shit, they're going to start to see powerful names and they're going to fall back off me. A lot of people think that's the angle. So it says, Dear Bill, I can't believe you have chosen to disregard our friendship of over the last 6 years. I am aware of that accidents happen. It is how each of us has chosen to deal with this unfortunate event that has me dismayed beyond comprehension. You have decided to discharge me from my job. Had Larry, your personal PR person, tell me that I'm engaged in morally inappropriate behavior, asked me to be a major actor in a cover-up so that you can maintain the reputation you have worked so hard to achieve, asked me to recommit to a confidentiality agreement, and categorically told me that we cannot have any direct ongoing business relationship in a total disregard for its impact of public perception of my reputation. I will have to diligently avoid the truth, tell people that Bill will not invest with me, and craft an answer that suits your needs, but you did not agree to send your letter of recommendation should a future employer ask for one. You should have told me that Melinda insists on me not communicating with you anymore unless Larry is copied or present, though you have consistently maintained that I could not have done a better job and I was underpaid compared to my contributions. You then beyond that I could have not done a better job and that I was underpaid for my, okay, my bad. You then beyond all sense of fairness and frankly decency said that as a generous compensation for keeping the Gates reputation intact, you would let me keep what we agreed, which is what I was already owed, which is the investment pieces, and give me 2 years severance. Similar to Christine Turner, another casualty, if the shoe was on the other foot and I would have said, Boris, this is not your fault. I confessed to Melinda, you didn't. It was in a moment of weakness and I will do anything in my power to make it right for you. I have more money than anyone needs, and I assure that I will structure something that you will not be penalized for my error. Lucky for me, I have enough money to provide to you, though it will not heal the injury. It will make you secure in your future. In addition, I will bend over backwards to make sure your career is rewarded and upswing. I appreciate the fact that drastically, Wait, why does this sound like... Why does it sound like that half of this is like Bill? What? This will eventually pass. In that regard, I suggest I buy the house that you have your heart set on and whatever. To add insult to injury, you then implored me to please delete emails regarding your STD. Oh, here it is. Your STD. Oh, so this is all Epstein then. Never mind. I thought it was Bill. I thought it changed to Bill's voice, because why would Epstein be telling Bill, I have more money than anyone could think? I would imagine Bill would be saying, nigga, I'm the richest man in the world. You're broke to me, okay? It said, your request that I provide you antibiotics that you surreptitiously give to Melinda in the description of your penis. You also made it clear to me that I am not to refer to so-and-so as that's another topic that must remain between the two of us. In return for all of these requests, which I have done without a second thought, I am not to attend meetings with Melinda. I should not continue to provide the same level of service and dedication that I've done diligently, and you are ready to discard our friendship. Okay. I've decided to resign my position, infected immediately with BG3 and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I have not come to decide. This is another email. Quickly, and I have the greatest respect for my friend of whatever. I would feel like whatever. From helping Bill to get drugs in order to deal with the consequences of sex with Russian girls to facilitate his illicit trysts with married women, to be asked to provide Adderall for bridge tournaments, as I am a medical doctor but have no prescription writing ability. Okay, chat. Let's call a spade a spade. So the rumors are true. Like, just reading this, having a brain, he didn't send this email to himself as like a draft. He sent this email to himself as in blackmail. Like, it's clear. Like, he's spelling out crimes. Like, imagine if you and a nigga robbed somebody, right? If he calls you on the phone and be like, yo, bro, man, yo, remember when, like, you came up with the idea to rob the nigga, and then I went and got the gun, and then we went in there, and then, like, you drove, and then we said it was that house, and you said it wasn't this. Like, the way a nigga talking, you're gonna be like, yo, bro, you're tapped. Like, bro, the fans listen, you know what I mean? At that point, you'd be like, sir, I think you got the wrong number. Please don't call back here. I have nothing that you may need, and I don't know you. Have a nice day. That's what you would say, right? These emails, clearly he was trying to put out there that, hey, you're cutting me off, but let me point out all the illicit things that I've done for you, which include help drugging your wife, allowed you to have all these threesomes or trysts or, like, you know, extramarital affairs that I was covering up for you. I have done a lot of things that you are really kind of obligated to me. And this really tells me, if you ask me, bro, he's writing this because he feels the police is in his shit. And maybe he knew that they were going to get subpoenas for his stuff, and he wanted to scare the feds to say, hey, if you lock me up, you got to go get them too. That, honestly, this is what it reads like to me. That Jeffrey Epstein is damn near writing a letter, quote unquote, but he sends it to himself. It's more like a diary entry with a confession. Why would he do that? It seems like, and you have to imagine after a while, he knows the police have been watching him or surveilling him. He seems like he liked to drag other people into his mess, that if they started investigating him or try to arrest him for some sex shit, he then says, okay, well, you know, my lawyer is going to say, how come I'm arrested but not Bill Gates, right? You know that we're going to if I go down, everybody go down, so to speak, right? That's it's clear to me. It's clear to me. But let me go back to this dude.
Because he was second thought. I am not
Here we go.
I cannot believe that you'd have decided to effective immediately.
Okay, he's just doing reading.
Jeffrey Epstein sending this stuff to himself. When you read this, it kind of makes you think, did Jeffrey Epstein know his emails were eventually going to
Yes, clearly.
be leaked or spied on or used as evidence? If he's just sending it to himself, is it because he just wanted to draft it? Because usually when you draft things, you just, you type them and they go into your draft. You don't need to send your draft message to yourself. You could just have it saved in your drafts. So when he sends it to himself, to me, I find that odd. Why not just leave it in his drafts if he just wants to write it out? You get what I'm saying? But no, he decided to just go ahead and send it to himself. And it makes me think, did he kind of expect that at one point in the near future or in the far future, his email...
Yeah, I really do think so. This has spilled over where Melinda Gates was actually questioned about some of these claims, and this is what she said today.
Russian girls contracting an STD and was also writing emails about how to
me take a
secretly drug his ex-wife with medication so he could get away with it. Bill Gates denies all of this, but his ex-wife, Melinda Gates, has broken her silence and she wants answers about the allegations. This is what she had to say in a podcast with NPR.
The emails in the files suggest that Bill Gates had additional affairs and that he tried to get medication to treat a sexually transmitted infection, and that he was going to give you the medicine without you knowing. His representative has said all of this is false. It is not on you to have to respond to the details of that alleged behavior, but I wonder what your dominant emotion is when you read these news articles with these details.
Sad. Just unbelievable sadness. Unbelievable sadness, right? And again, I'm able to take my own sadness and look at those young girls and say, my God, how did that happen to those girls, right? And so for me, it's just sadness for, I left my marriage. I had to leave my marriage. I wanted to leave my marriage.
Why?
I had to leave I felt I needed to eventually leave the foundation. So it's just sad.
Wow. Melinda Gates goes on to say that this reminds her of a very painful time in her marriage, that no girl should have ever been put in the situation that they were put in by Epstein and whatever else may have been going on with all of the people around him. And she wants those people, including her ex-husband, the savior of health, to start answering questions and ultimately for there to be justice for the alleged victims in all of this, because this is beyond heartbreaking. Although millions of documents have been made public recently, these are only half of the files. Millions of documents are still...
I have to acknowledge the elephant in the room at this moment. Your ex-husband, Bill, is named in the newest tranche of...
Didn't Bill Gates give her like mad bread? Bill Gates divorce settlement with Melinda Gates. What? $8 billion? Yo, man, I ain't gonna cap with you, bro. Man, I only gave you a little chlamydia and I gave you $8 million. You better hold that. Man, you better stop playing, man. Man, I only gave a little syphilis. Man, you better hold that shit, nigga. Man, unless I gave you that HIV, you better hold that shit, man. You better take them antibiotics and be good, nigga. What the fuck? What? Reports indicate a massive multi-year transfer of assets. $13 billion? Yo, you better hold that shit, man. Yeah, listen, I ain't co-sign. I'm just saying, like, come on now. Like, yo, all you got to do, bro, I'm not saying you got to be happy with me, but don't be on no interviews running your mouth, yo. What you look like, Samaya? Like, what the fuck? Like, yo, shut the hell. You old as hell, man. Yo, I know Bill is like, yo, I get this bitch $8 billion or $12 billion, man. And she airing me out on some TikTok story time. Like, what's popping, bro? Like, yo, what's the vibes? Like, yo, she over here airing me out like she Brittany Renner or something. Like, yo, what's good? Yo, like, come on.
Of Epstein.
Told me you gotta speak your truth. Yo, shorty, you had all these years to speak. This is the worst part about it. Shorty this is why nothing beats a woman scorn. She gonna act like she never knew. What? He was doing what? Oh, that's why I was alone in bed at nights. He never came home. He came home smelling like Chuck E. Cheese. He came home and one time I found a Power Ranger panty in his pocket. Oh my God, he really was with Jeff. Come on, stop the cap. You know what your man was doing, bro. Stop the cap.
Files. And there are a new alleged details about his past behavior. And I want to give you the opportunity to respond in whatever way you want to.
Well, let me say this. I think we're having a reckoning as a society, right? No girl should ever be put in the situation that they were put in by Epstein and whatever was going on with all of the various people around him. No girl. I mean, it's beyond heartbreaking, right? I remember being those ages those girls were. I remember my daughters being those ages, right? So for me, it's personally hard whenever those details come up, right? Because brings back memories of some very, very painful times in my marriage, but I have moved on from that. I purposely pushed it away and I moved on. I'm in a really unexpected, beautiful place in my life. So whatever questions remain there of what I can't even begin to know all of it, those questions are for those people and for even my ex-husband. They need to answer to those things, not me.
Well,
and I am so happy to be away from all the muck that was there.
I have to put more words to the muck for context for our listeners. The emails in the files suggest that Bill Gates had additional affairs and that he tried to get medication to treat a sexually transmitted infection.
Yeah, hold on. Hey, chat. You know, you ever seen some headline and be like, man, something's up here? Let me tell you this. Back in the day, I remember I was in college or something. It said Melinda Gates, it came out that she planned to give away like all of her wealth. And I'm like, rich people planning to give away half all their wealth or half or whatever. I'm like, yo, that's blood money right there. That's child exploitation money right there. They can't live with themselves. That's what it is. Bruh, these rich motherfuckers ain't trying to give nobody shit. Melinda Gates plans to donate half wealth. And it was the half the money Bill Gates was, look, I gotta, look, it's a long time ago, bro. It's like in 2010 or something. Let's see. 2010. In 2010, Melinda Gates, along with Bill Gates, founded a challenge to billionaires to give half their wealth to philanthropy. Yeah, all right, nigga. That's when I knew them niggas was doing some sacrifices. I'm like, all right, man. That blood money's not no good for them, man. They trying to get their spirit right. They trying to get their spirit right, gang. They trying to get their spirit right. That's what it is. Anytime you see somebody say, yo, they did all the fucked up shit to make billions of dollars, and now they're like, oh, I want to give it all away. Their spirit not right. Like, everything has been aligned and it's fucking them up. They can't live with themselves. They can't live with looking in the mirror after what they did.
The emails in the files suggest that Bill Gates had additional affairs and that he tried to get medication to treat a sexually transmitted infection and that he was going to give you the medicine without you knowing. His representative has said all of this is false. It is not on you to have to respond to the details of that alleged behavior, but I wonder what your dominant emotion is when you read these news articles with these details.
Sad. Just unbelievable sadness. Unbelievable sadness, right? And again, I'm able to take my own sadness and look at those young girls and say, my God, how did that happen to those girls, right? And so for me, it's just sadness for, you know, I left my marriage. I had to leave my marriage. I wanted to leave my marriage. I had to leave I felt I needed to eventually leave the foundation. So it's just sad.
What did you know, though? All right, bet. Anyway, Bill Gates spoke, and he spoke out today. Check this out, Chad.
Welcome to Australia. Thanks for sitting down with us. I'd like to start with your legacy. A lot of people will start a foundation or a charity with the idea of creating it, naming it, and letting it live on forever and help people forever. You're doing...
Man, fuck all that, man. What's up with
The U.S. was by far, but at least
some of this Epstein shit.
The 48 hours.
Times, but I'll say again, I was foolish to spend time with him. I was one of many people who regret never knowing him.
Oh, now you talking about it, right?
In 2011.
I know he didn't just switch the subject like that. What?
Philanthropy is sometimes with him. I regret and I apologize that I did that.
So he's saying it's cap.
The problem is some of our...
Yeah. I don't know what to even make of that though. Cause I really think those emails or that particular email is a email that is meant to blackmail or kind of like is for his own survival. He's putting other people's name in it, basically saying we're partners in crime. It's like basically taking notes. It's like taking notes while y'all planning a robbery. Like, you ever seen this? Like, there's a scene in The Wire where it's like, yo, nigga, are you taking fucking notes on a fucking conspiracy? Look.
Nigga, is you taking notes on a criminal fucking conspiracy?
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Yo, Epstein was fucking, like, writing a journal for sex trafficking. Like, I don't think he's that dumb. If you watch that interview, he doesn't seem that dumb. He don't seem that dumb.
You thinking, man? Nigga, is you taking notes on a criminal fucking conspiracy? What the fuck is you thinking, man?
Hilarious. Did y'all see this? I gotta show y'all this too. Let me open. I had this in my thingy. History. Hold on, I'm gonna show y'all. Give me a second. Give me a second. Where is it? Is it that? No. It's about like how he made his money and like how sketchy it is. Give me one. Let me see. Maybe I can search it. Made his money. It's like really odd. Like there's really no like if you watch any of these on how he made his money, oh, I think this is it.
Around half of his wealth was moving other people's money around in creative ways. But even that
Here we go.
But anyway, back to it. The team and I have been doing a bit of digging. 2 days before his completely unsuspicious death, the alleged financier Jeffrey Epstein signed an updated last will and testament which roughly detailed assets worth an estimated $577 million.
Damn.
What has remained unclear in the almost 6 years since, though, is how he actually made all of this money. Before becoming the centerpiece of an ongoing international scandal, Epstein was most publicly described as a high-profile finance guy that made his money by moving other people's money around in creative ways. But even that broad definition still raises some questions. He was supposedly charging tens of millions of dollars in fees for tax advice even though he was not a tax lawyer or a CPA. Hundreds of millions for wealth management even though he never had a Series 7 or a CFA. And charged massive sums as a consultant despite not even having a college degree. Now, the financial industry was certainly a lot less competitive back then. But even in the 1980s, ultra-wealthy individuals still weren't giving away money like this for nothing in return. With very little in the way of verifiable achievements, staff, or actual operations, it's unclear how valuable these services really could be, which ultimately raises the obvious question. Was Epstein a successful financier with a completely separate side hobby in diddling? Or was he a full-time diddler using financial services as a cover to bankroll and launder the proceeds of his crimes? In either case, the obvious course of action would be to follow the money trail, right? Well, there are actually a few big groups of varying levels of competency who are all trying, but this is easier said than done. A complex web of jurisdictions, shell corporations, alongside confidential client and banking secrecy laws make a paper trail hard to pin together, and that is clearly by design. Nobody's investment account should need a multi-jurisdictional flowchart to piece together unless they have something to hide, right? Even without the benefit of hindsight, the whole thing does seem incredibly unusual. The only problem is that for a lot of high net worth and high profile individuals, the only thing abnormal about all of this is just how normal it really is.
Tonight, the Justice Department is scrambling to review roughly 5.2 million documents.
I expect that we're going to release more documents.
The key word is redaction. A lot of paid.
Boyle made a similar video about 5 months. He still somehow landed a job at Bear Stearns.
Listen to this.
Because the rapper formerly known as Lil Boyle is always worth a watch, and it seems like his videos have been quietly censored, which means he is talking about the important stuff. Epstein's first job in finance was given to him after he was fired from the Dalton School in 1976 for poor performance. Again, working as a teacher without a college degree.
After this, we're going to look at Trump mentions.
He still somehow landed a job at Bear Stearns, working as a glorified coffee getter for one of the firm's floor traders. These were the people that actually executed financial transactions back in the day, before electronic trading took over by shouting at one another in colorful outfits. By all accounts, he learned the ins and outs of the industry incredibly quickly and became particularly good at schmoozing the firm's wealthiest clients as he handled their complex financial affairs. By 1980, he had worked his way up to a limited partner at the firm and even scored himself an entry as the Bachelor of the Month in the Cosmopolitan magazine with an entry that read, "Jeffrey Epstein, 27, talks only to people who make over $1 million a year. If you're a cute Texas girl, write this New York Dynamo." Which is just so gross in so many ways. Although, to be fair, in the same year, they also awarded that title to Prince Andrew and O.J. Simpson. Sometimes you just cannot make this shit up. But anyway, for those of you keeping track, this meant that in just 4 years, Epstein had worked his way up from a junior assistant all the way to a limited partner at what was one of the most notorious firms on Wall Street. For a lot of young finance grads with Ivy League degrees doing their forced summer internship, this is the most unbelievable part of the story. How was someone without any formal qualifications getting ahead so quickly? Well, this is partially because finance back then was a lot less competitive than it is today, but it was also far more relationship focused. Someone who could show clients a good night on the town could bring in more value to the firm than some PhD quantitative analyst. Since then, regulatory, cultural, and technological changes, as well as just the overall size of the financial industry, means that the ladder is both higher and there is a lot more technical work to be done on those lower ladders. But back then, wining and dining powerful and wealthy people was part of the job, and it was a skill that Epstein clearly employed later in his career as well. Even still, just from the financial side, at this time, Epstein was receiving a total compensation of $200,000 a year.
Okay, I want to fast track this a little bit. He basically, they can't find how he got his money, bro.
He also had a fake passport, and when Florida Attorney General Alexander Acosta was questioned about his later criminal case, he stated on record that, "I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone," and that Epstein was above his pay grade. You can see why the tinfoil hat really doesn't need to be too tight for all of this to raise a lot of questions. However, just from the business perspective, this kind of work had the potential to be highly lucrative, while also giving him an extensive contact list of high-profile people and experience with legal and financial systems in different countries and jurisdictions. He ran this operation for 6 years in total before being hired by Stephen Hoffenberg to work at Towers Financial Corporation, a collection agency that would buy up debt from things like medical debt off hospitals for cheap and try to get people $50 million of its investors' money. At the time, this was the biggest pawn. This week's video is sponsored by Else Do It. Secrecy laws, one of the biggest insights actually came from a completely different set of files that were released several years earlier. The Paradise Papers were a series of leaked documents from the offshore law firm Appleby that handled corporate registries through Aruba, the Cook Islands, the Bahamas, Barbados, Malta, Nevis, and Samoa. So, you know, a pretty comprehensive list of the most reputable places to do business. Anyway, one of those leaked documents involved an offshore hedge fund founded in the year 2000, Liquid Funding, which was registered in Bermuda. According to information pieced together by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, the group that published these millions of leaked documents, the chairman of this operation was none other than a Mr. Jeffrey Epstein. Now, we don't actually know who the investors were in this firm because even with these leaks, the offshore entity was in turn owned by a holding company in Delaware under the same name, and that information remained sealed. There was one exception though. By using the Wayback Machine, in a 2002 annual report to stockholders, Bear Stearns disclosed that they had taken an approximately 40% stake in the holding company that in turn owned the offshore Bermuda-registered firm. In that same disclosure, they noted that Liquid Funding itself had approximately $900 million in assets, and what those assets were was primarily repurchase agreements on swap.
Okay.
The relationship did seem unusually close. Over the course of 15 years, Wexner paid Epstein a reported $200 million in fees for tax, estate, and asset management advice. Now, given Epstein's lack of credentials and spotty financial track record, a lot of people have pointed to this amount of money as being highly suspect.
So Victoria's Secret's leader, Lex Wexner, was just paying this guy $200 million to give him advice? Show. And I'm over here taxing little baby $30K just to shut up. No, I'm playing.
Financial services for people worth billions of dollars can and
it's a joke.
Often do cost this much. Before an average of almost $20 million a year, Wexner could have built his own family office to handle his financial affairs and investment in-house. Beyond the sheer amount of money that Wexner was paying Epstein, their professional relationship did seem to extend beyond a simple client-agent. Epstein's famous house in New York was actually officially owned by Wexner for more than a decade while Epstein was living in it. Wexner would reportedly come and go since it was his property after all, but yet the inscribed letters on the door read J.E. Additionally, and allegedly, Epstein used his relationship with Wexner to present himself as a talent scout for Victoria's Secret, which aided with his criminal activities. These allegations brought attention to the culture at Victoria's Secret, who settled with shareholders 2 years later for a reported $90 million for a breach of their fiduciary duty in creating a hostile culture. The second publicly known client that Epstein retained as a major source of revenue was Leon Black, the multi-billionaire co-founder and former CEO of Apollo Capital Management, one of the largest private equity firms.
Okay, so the people who funded Jeffrey Epstein, here's a company: Victoria's Secret, Abercrombie & Fitch, and some Apollo company.
In the world. An interesting but totally irrelevant little connection is that Apollo Capital Management shares the same New York office building with another private equity firm, Sycamore Partners. Sycamore Partners acquired the holding company The Limited in 2017, which is the parent company of Victoria's Secret. This means absolutely nothing. But it is a warning that when you start looking at financial documents for 2 months straight, you do, meaning that on all of these fees, he was paying an effective tax rate of just 4%, less than a tenth of what he would be paying if he was similarly set up in New York. Now, Les Wexner and Leon Black were by far his largest known clients, but despite some early reports, new information has revealed that they weren't his only clients. In total, his firm received an additional $118 million in traceable fees from individuals like Elizabeth Johnson of the Johnson & Johnson family fortune and the hedge fund
Johnson & Johnson?
Bridge Capital. A report by Forbes pieced all of these together and found that in total, as far as we know, Epstein's firm brought in over $488 million in fees for questionable financial services. If we were just tracking the source of his wealth, these payments, as suspicious as they were, combined with some modest investment returns, should pretty much explain it, right? Well, not quite. According to the very will and testament that outlets are basing his estimated net worth off of, only around half of his wealth was actually invested in cash flow generating assets. And this also isn't accounting for the fact that several of his major investments completely imploded, taking out a major share of his fortune with it. He did have some successful private investments, such as Carbine, a communications technology company that he was an early investor in alongside other luminaries like Peter for Variable, which is that his lifestyle was obviously deplorable, but it was also not cheap. Frequent private jet travel, property taxes, and upkeep on hundreds of millions of dollars worth of real estate and personal expenditures all amounted to several $million a year on the low end. On top of this is one of his biggest personal expenses of all, which was lawyers. According to court records, Epstein engaged with more than 75 lawyers over the course of his life, including major names like Alan Dershowitz, who charged several $1,000s an hour for his services. Adding it all up, it is possible that over the roughly 30 years he was in business for himself, he could have very easily spent as much money as was coming in through these traceable revenue sources, which means to amass this wealth, he was either getting investment returns from somewhere that hasn't been revealed yet, or he had other sources of revenue. This sounds bad, but it potentially gets worse. Now, this part is verging on potentially conspiratorial, but so far in this video, we've been working off the same number that most news outlets have been working off of, the $577 million detailed in his will. But that was written while he was in prison, and it was done 2 days before his death. It is possible that someone who was comfortable carrying a fake passport and slipping in and out of international deals kept some assets outside of the typical financial system in the event that he had the opportunity to make a run for it. Now, back to what we know, the Senate Finance Committee has reported that Epstein's company accounts held with several major Western banks had over $1.9 billion worth of direct transactions flowing between them, well above the $488 million in fees that have already been well documented. These transactions also linked the currently sanctioned Russian banks, putting further question marks over who Epstein's clients were and what they were really paying for. Unfortunately, until further details are released and or more pressure is put on these banks to hand over information, that is all we do know for now. Offshore financial dealings are already hard to track, so then...
Damn. Okay. Let's now look at what they said Trump was up in there doing. Trump Epstein files. Okay. Should we... Y'all watch Philip DeFranco?
Hey, welcome back to the Philip DeFranco Show, your daily diet.
Here we go.
All now available. Street Journal analysis. Several women's full names appeared more than 100.
Okay, let's get
consistency and persistence of the failures that occur in the identities of men who abused young women with the help of Epstein.
Is the public going to learn about?
All right, let's get to Trump, honestly.
Men.
Identities is 43-year-old Border Patrol agent Jesus Ochoa, who goes by Jesse, and 35-year-old customer. Is a world where Democrats and Republicans, they come to an agreement and they go, okay, these are the concessions we're going to do. You would then also have to count on Donald Trump to go,
all right, bro, you're doing too much chatting, bro. I just want to figure out like a qualitative thing about Trump in the Epstein files. Let's go. Maybe this works?
Cited Lon Lemon and arrested him. But they say that Bill Gates destroyed his marriage by giving his wife an STD number of allegations against Donald Trump. Bill Gates is paying Jeffrey Epstein? This is Jeffrey Epstein's desk. And you can see a dollar here signed by Bill Gates. I was wrong. Was that a wager that he wouldn't get an STD? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not up to me. We're just trying to interpret them as quickly as we can and to give you all of the important information out of this massive drop of files. See, ladies and gentlemen, obviously this is creating quite a few headlines already. Today, we are looking now further at the DOJ's files, and you can see pages like this one that include an enormous number of allegations against Donald Trump. Very lurid child exploitation allegations.
I hate to pause this, but I see a guy who he was on Flagrant 2. Epstein files all major Trump accusations. Hopefully they can dispel it. I've seen this guy talk about it before. He's always been on the ball. If this not good, we go back to the other one. For the people who think they'll be like, yo, you're protected. No, I'm not. Okay, here we go.
We put a lot of work behind the scenes into this. I do want to just say for everybody, for our general YouTube audience, we're going to be breaking this up into multiple clips. However, we really do recommend listening to this completely in full. For that, you do need to be a premium subscriber. So breakingpoints.com.
All right, bro.
The last 48 to find the most news are. If you're listening to this in a podcast, share.
Okay, let's get to it, bro.
Here's what he had to say on board Air Force One.
Well, they should be, because it looked like this guy Wolf, who's a writer, was conspiring with Epstein to do harm to me. And I didn't see it myself, but I was told by some very important people that not only does it absolve me, it's the opposite of what people were hoping, the radical left. That Wolf, who's a third-rate writer, was conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein to hurt me, politically or otherwise. And that came through loud and clear. So we'll probably sue Wolf on that.
So according to Trump, the Epstein files absolves him.
Maybe the Epstein estate, I guess. I don't know. But we're going to certainly sue him. You want to sue the Epstein estate? Well, you may. I guess so, because he was conspiring with Wolf to do harm to me politically. That's not a friend.
Trump talking there about how it doesn't implicate him. However, there were some bad things there for Donald Trump here in the files. Let's go and put the first one up here on the screen. This one got quite a bit of attention. I'm going to count all of these as responsibly as I can. So here it says, FBI report citing a confidential human source released in the final batch of the Epstein files claims Trump has been compromised by Israel. I will note.
Okay, so this is kind of like the same thing as Jay-Z. And, we should note, we should treat everything the same. So if we thought that Jay-Z thing was serious, we should think this is serious too. You know what I mean? Like, I like keeping everything the same. You know what I mean?
Note, if we go to the next one, guys, please, is that one of these sources, Chuck Johnson, is a controversial figure. However, and he's previously been one who has been involved with these types of things. I will say I've known Chuck for many years, and he does actually have quite a bit of connections. However, he's kind of an eccentric character, so you could take that of what you will for his own reputation. You can Google some of the other legal problems that he has right now. I do think it is important, though, to note and to flag some of this stuff which is in the files. And I do also want to give an extraordinary amount of credit here, Crystal, to Ro Khanna and to Thomas Massey, who are the ones who are solely responsible for being able to get this information out, because what we have learned here now so far is the full vast amount of this conspiracy, the extent to which it touches not only Donald Trump, but literally the entire global elite, which is why we have to spend almost, probably more than 2 hours today breaking all of it down. But with Donald Trump himself, this is one of the more extraordinary ones about being compromised, let's say, by Israel. Again, it is an allegation made by Chuck Johnson, to be very, very clear.
Yeah.
However, when we look in the totality of all of the other things here with Jeffrey Epstein and with...
Okay, so let's pause this. Do y'all care if Donald Trump is or not compromised by Israel? I'm just asking the question. I'm just asking, right? If people have the rage about Jewish people, I guess you'll care. I'm looking for, was he fucking kids? Okay, I don't give a fuck what's going on in Israel, bro. I only care, is he fucking kids? They say every politician is compromised by Israel, in my opinion. So whether he is or not, I'm not saying it's irrelevant. But when I hear Epstein files, I don't want to hear about no Israel. I want to hear about, what about them kids, though? So, we could kind of keep that in mind. Like, maybe there's some Israel stuff we could look up later. But I want to hear, was he fucking the kids?
so-called compromise. I do think it's important, while I don't necessarily, believe this particular one, the extent to which Epstein clearly was using his vast array of influence, power, etc., on behalf of multiple different foreign states, governments, and clearly, this verifies everything that we've laid out from the beginning. It is an open, genuine question, his relationship, not just with Trump, but with all the people around him, with all the people in power, and I just think it's important to flag that from the very beginning of what the story says.
I think starting here at the top, first of all, it's important to remember how we got here. You're right to credit Kana, Massey, also shout out to Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace, who were put under a tremendous amount of pressure to back off that discharge petition. They signed on to it. That's how the files ended.
Bro, we don't give a fuck. Tell us what it says in the files, you fucking...
There are a bunch of failed redactions, and then there's a bunch of stuff that is...
We don't care. What's in the files?
When you think about just this administration, was backed by Dershowitz's behavior. Sheldon Adelson was behind Dershowitz and Netanyahu. CHS thought it was odd that Dershowitz, who was always left-leaning, then changed to back Trump. CHS stated this did not surprise them since Dershowitz was always on the side of whatever the Israelis wanted, which included Trump. Sean Hannity was also backed by Sheldon Adelson. CHS was on the phone to take notes whenever Epstein and Dershowitz spoke on the phone. He stated Mossad would always call after they got off the phone with Epstein. CHS also saw bills coming and going for Dershowitz. Noticed there were never any bills presented to Dershowitz for Epstein or Maxwell, which CHS thought was odd. So that is the allegation that came from this particular source. Take that for what you will.
Yeah, exactly. Important to note, again, who the source was. Now, let's continue, though. There were all kinds of sketchy behavior when the immediate release. Put A4, let's say, for example, up here on the screen, multiple allegations there about Donald Trump. Specifically, you can read some of these example for yourself. The DOJ actually...
All right, shut up, man. Sir, whatever, hosted a party with Jeffrey Epstein, Sammy Sosa, and Trump. I imagine Sammy Sosa with a face full of powder. And at the door... And at the party, the caller, okay, so this is a random caller to the FBI. Okay, bet. At the party, the caller met an individual who was approximately between 18 and 23 years of age, who was brought in from Oklahoma for a modeling job, but then sold to a man in France. Sold? What the hell? Several women were being auctioned, so they said they were auctioning women. And women known as Colette L.N.U. was a madame. A couple of years later, a caller saw Colette at the Cheetah Club in New York. She told one of Santos' friends that Jamie Foxx was interested in spending the night with her and that he could pay her a lot of money. Donald Trump, the president, had parties at Mar-a-Lago called Calendar Girls. Jeffrey Epstein, so this is another caller now. So this is one caller, here's another caller. Donald Trump, the president, had parties at Mar-a-Lago called Calendar Girls. Jeffrey Epstein would bring the children in and Trump would auction them off. He measured the children's vulva and vaginas by entering a finger and rated the children on tightness. Pause. The guests were elder men, included Elon Musk, Donald Trump Jr., Ivanka Trump, Eric Trump. Attorney Alan Dershowitz was there with attorney Bob Shapiro. We were taken in rooms, forced to give oral sex to Donald Trump, forced to allow them to penetrate us. I was 13 when Donald Trump R-worded me. Ghislaine Maxwell was also present. That's caller number 2.
Killed the link to this before it was...
Well, I'll give Jay-Z some credit. At least Jay-Z only got one caller that called in about him. Trump got at least 2. Okay. All right. So, hey, listen, we call a spade over here. You feel me?
Then taken down.
And so, Jay, you got to catch up, buddy. You got to catch up. Trump got a couple of calls. They only called about your ass one time.
course, these were extraordinary. This was part of an unverified dossier, which complaints specifically made about Donald Trump that were collated by the Department of Justice. In some of these cases, for example, they said, that this information was provided by somebody who had psychiatric problems, but nonetheless, we're going to go and put it up here. Let's put A5, for example, next on the screen. This was another one. This was actually an interview with FBI agents. A survivor told agents that Ghislaine Maxwell, quote, presented her to Donald Trump saying that she was available. Not a tip, for example. This was an FBI 302, an interview with agents.
Okay, so this one's a little bit more credible. The first one is kind of like the Jay-Z one, but those might be credible too. So we don't know. Again, I want to show you this is what called being fair is. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's not only with Jay. We don't know. We don't know with nobody. If your name in this shit, we don't know. Okay? We ain't swearing for nobody. You feel me? Was you fucking them kids or not? We going to keep it a bean. So this one has a little bit more, potential for veracity here, because the FBI interviews what they call a survivor, and this survivor is claiming that Ghislaine Maxwell presented her to Donald Trump, and Ghislaine said, yo, Trump, she's available, okay? So this is an actual interview, not just a random call. It says, so-and-so never dated Trump. Maxwell took so-and-so to a party in New York. Maxwell seemed very excited that there would be a lot of great men for so-and-so to meet. So-and-so felt that Maxwell presented her and gave a rundown of so-and-so accolades similar to CV. Maxwell presented so-and-so to Trump, and they had a conversation for approximately 20 minutes and was invited to Mar-a-Lago and was given a tour by Trump with Epstein and Maxwell present. Nothing happened between so-and-so and Trump. Huh? By the things that Maxwell said, it was made clear that so-and-so was available. Maxwell said things like, oh, I think he likes you. Aren't you lucky? This is great. There was an article that came out with so-and-so and Trump. So-and-so thought she was around 22 years old. So-and-so was given suggestions on what to wear. Maxwell says, oh, he'll like that. Oh, he doesn't like that. It was set up very much how Maxwell introduced so-and-so to Epstein. Maxwell introduced so-and-so to so-and-so. There was definitely a pretext that this guy was for so-and-so. So-and-so and so-and-so are friends. They dated much later. So-and-so described so-and-so as a good guy. So-and-so told so-and-so that someone from the government had reached out to him. Okay, all right. All right. Well, there's no fucking here or allegations of fucking.
Let's go ahead and go to A6. This was another one. Quote, a witness swore under perjury that Trump had, quote, threatened a young girl. She could disappear and then threatened to kill her entire family. This was in the dataset 9.
Trump, my nigga, this sound like some Trump shit. Trump the type to tell a motherfucker, nigga, I gotta get you clapped, nigga, like straight up. Like, yo, real talk, straight up. You feel me? Like, I can see Trump doing this. As a fact, Trump on some gangster shit. I could see. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know. Is he threatening her over sex? I don't know. Let's hear.
Of the Epstein files. This was another particular one from a Tiffany Doe. Again, these have not been verified. For example, they were submitted and they were part of the official release.
This would be more significant just because the penalty of perjury than like the anonymous tip line stuff, just in terms of how you think
so
about
we're just
this.
trying to couch everything, just so everybody knows about, in particular, all of these. This is not a claim of, that any of this has been proven. It has, however, been released by the government. Let's go and put the next one up here on the screen. They're saying Epstein, quote, Trump is likely to be asked questions soon about me. Supposedly said a girl that Donald had sex with her at my house when she was underage. She said she has a witness. This was he asking, who was a Kathy Rumler, who, by the way, again, is former White House.
So Trump is likely to be asked questions soon about me. Supposedly a girl that Donald had sex with at her house was underage.
Lawyer under Barack Obama, and now actually a senior banking official who herself may.
So this is Jeffrey Epstein saying it.
Actually really be in trouble considering her entire relationship here with Epstein, but he's going back and forth asking questions specifically about how to handle that. Let's continue, shall we? A9, can we put that one? Because A9 was important to me, for example, because this was just shows you like Trump's social life, for example, at the time. Says, I simply cannot believe this victory. This is immediately after Trump's victory. No one called it. We all thought she'd win. This was to Jeffrey Epstein. You must be happy, though. I remember flying back with Donald on his plane the first weekend I went to visit you in Florida. Was the weekend he met Melania. He kept coming out of the bedroom saying, wow, what a hot piece of ass. Nuts. Anyway, hope you're enjoying Saudi.
Damn. Yeah, that nigga Trump was running back-to-back pipe sessions with Melania when he first met her. That's how you know you found your wife or your girlfriend, though. When you find your girlfriend, bro, you give her the most rounds out of any chick, bro. Facts. Holy. That's a fact. Yeah, okay, all right. So this one ain't illegal. This is him finding his wife.
So a lot going on there. Hope you're enjoying it, Saudi. Also talking about Trump and apparently the relationship that these mutual friends of theirs had there in the past. Melania.
Now I want again. We keep in the same energy, chat. We're not doing what these other niggas is doing. The mere fact that Trump is in this shit is not a good look. That's your man's. If that's your man's, that's not a good look. If you and Epstein was on a 2-man, that's not a good look. We got to keep it a bean. If you and Epstein was on a 2-man's, it's not a good look. I don't care if it's Jay-Z, Jay and Harvey Weinstein might have been on a 2-man's. But if you with Harvey Weinstein or Epstein, matter of fact, any of the Steens, not a good look. Let's keep it a bean. We got to call a spade a spade. Trump looking crazy, Jay looking crazy, they all looking crazy. If your name in the shit, you crazy, nigga. Straight up. We got to call that a spade a spade. We can't pick and choose, bro. We can't pick and choose. Ain't nobody else locked up but 2 people. Well, one dead. Jeffrey dead. And Ghislaine locked up. The rest of these motherfuckers free. Why your name in this shit? What the fuck was you doing? Why your name is even in this shit? Jamie Foxx, why your name in this shit? This shit don't look good for you, Jamie. I fuck with you, but this shit don't look good, bro. Why your name up in there? Push your seat. This shit don't look good, bro. You're supposed to be selling coke, nigga. You're not supposed to be doing no other extracurricular activities, bro. Why your name up in this files, bro? And I'm not saying that this shit is true, because they're basically saying, we don't know if it's true. Well, we just gonna have to. All right. I hope they investigate all of these things to figure it out if it's true. But I think we could say if your name was in this shit, you was doing too much, gang. You on some other shit. Everybody. Jay, Donald Trump, Pusha T, Jamie Foxx, Eminem. Y'all niggas was doing too much. Straight up. Your name should not be in no shit like this. Let's keep it a bean.
Also makes an appearance. Go to the next one, shall we? This shows you Dear G.
Chris Tucker in this too? Come on, man. I knew after he did that second Rush Hour, he got into some other shit. Because I don't know whatever happened. Whatever happened to Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker did some shit.
G, how are you? A nice story about J.E. in New York Magazine. This is the infamous, 2002 profile where Trump said something along the lines of...
Is this Trump?
If I recall, he was like, Jeffrey really enjoys his social life. He likes him young, something like that. You look great on the picture. I know you were very busy flying all over the world. How was Palm Beach? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call.
This is Melania. She can't wait to suck some dick? Holy shit. Melania. No. Or go back down. Oh, never mind. Go, bro, this is some freaky, creepy shit. We don't know what's going on, man. I'm thinking they on that Diddy time, man. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what's going on with this
when you are back in New York. Have a great time. Love, Melania.
Who's... This ain't the Trump files, this is the Epstein files. So she messaged Epstein? Melania, I hope you wasn't trying to throw that box to Jeffrey now. Yo, you know if Trump see this right now, your ass getting deported back to, where Melania from? Russia? Your ass going back to Russia. Word. On the dead homies, your ass going back to Russia. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Your ass is going back to Russia. If you was trying to cheat on my man Donald J. Trump with Epstein, your ass is getting deported. Facts. ICE, pick her up. It's over. Let's go. Get her out. Yeah, yo, you see ICE rushing the White House? Yo, you know Trump ruthless. He don't give a damn, bro. Who's G, though? This can't be her messaging Jeffrey Epstein. Like, why are you talking to your man's like that? That's crazy. Wait, hold on. Let me back up. I want to hear what they say about this.
Young, something like that. Trump said some nice story about J.E. in New York Magazine.
Here we go.
This shows you, Dear G, how are you? And apparently the relationship that, these mutual friends of theirs had there in the past. Melania also makes an appearance. Go to the next one, shall we? This shows you, Dear G, how are
Yeah, but who's she emailing?
For you. Nice story about J.E. in New York Magazine. This is the infamous, 2002?
Oh, this is a nice story about, this is to a, I don't know who that is. Maybe a journalist? J.E.'s Jeffrey Epstein.
Profile where Trump said something along the lines of, if I recall, he was like, Jeffrey really enjoys his social life. He likes him young, something like that. You look great on the picture. I know you were very busy flying all over the world. How was Palm Beach? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call when you are back in New York. Have a great time. Love, Melania. So you could see the extent of their own social life there back in the day.
For what it's worth, Michael Wolff, journalist, controversial journalist, we'll say, who did spend a lot of time with Jeffrey Epstein.
That's it? Nah, they got to be more. They gotta be more. They gotta be more.
Should note that just because someone is mentioned in these documents,
man, let's get
the
this
FBI
shit.
made this list.
Here we go.
They were made them could ruin people's reputations.
I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters.
Nah, Trump, we gotta cut the bullshit, Trump. You my nigga, but we gotta cut the bullshit. That was your mans, bro. Like, stop playing, bro. Like, Harvey Weinstein was Jay-Z mans too. Like, bro, like, y'all like gotta be like, yo, it's a hoax. This ain't no hoax. That was your mans. Like, bet. So Trump's thing is that, yo, I cut him off. I found out he was on some weird shit. I cut him off. Cool. Let's say we believe you. You were still friends with him while he was doing some weird shit. Let's say you ain't know. That was your mans. That was your mans. You feel what I'm saying? So don't separate yourself too much. If anything, just tell us what you and him were doing. Like, when y'all were chilling, what were y'all doing? You know what I mean? Give us some context.
And Comey before him.
I would say that, these files were made up by Comey. They were made
What? Hell no.
Made up by Obama. They were made up by the Biden information. We went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it.
Just to be clear, Christopher Wray was the president's pick for FBI director that he put into that job. This also comes as we're learning for the first time about Jeffrey Epstein's contact with Elon Musk. You may remember.
Oh, I heard Elon in there. Elon, I ain't gonna lie, this ain't a good look. It's not a good look, gang. I'm being honest. None of y'all names should be in there. Jay-Z, you should stay your ass in Marcy, nigga. You and Dame Dash should have been slapboxing. Why is your ass in the goddamn Epstein files? Elon, you could have been building a spaceship. Why are you in the Epstein files, bro? This shit don't look good.
Elon Musk dropped what he described as a really big bomb last year. Said Trump was in the Epstein files, and that was the real reason.
You too.
They had not been made public. Well, it turns out, based on what we saw today, Musk is also Epstein files. Emails show that he tried coordinating multiple visits to Jeffrey Epstein's private island. And
he was trying to get busy too. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Sometimes, yo, if you can't get up in the spot, I ain't gonna lie to you. This dead happened one time. We're trying to, like, this was we teenagers. We're trying to go to a club, and I forgot what happened, but, like, we ain't get in. Yo, one of my people was so tight, as we leaving the club, they call the cops and say, yo, there's a fire over there, man. There's a fire over there, man. Go check that out, man. Go check that out. What you mean? Yeah. Epstein was trying, Elon was trying to get on the island. They wasn't trying to let him in. Yo, what? Man, it's time to tell on these niggas, man. You either let me in or I'm telling on you niggas, man. Fuck that, man. You either let me in or I'm telling on you. Stop it.
One from 2013, Elon Musk asked Jeffrey Epstein, when should we head to your island? The year before, he said, what day?
Oh, shit, nah. Elon was trying to get it in. Well, listen, let's keep it a bean, though. Elon a freaky nigga. You know Elon, the NBA young boy of, like billionaires, right? Like, the nigga got, like, 15 kids. How many kids? Who has more kids? NBA young boy or Elon Musk? Bro, we got to ask the question. As of mid-2025, Elon got more. Young boy got to catch up. Elon got 14. Young boy only got like 12 or 13. Young boy, come on, man. Come on, my boy. NBA young boy got 12 with 9. Oh, yeah, all right, okay. He beating Elon with that. Elon got 14 with 4. Elon, get a couple more baby moms. Man up. The hell?
Night would be the wildest party on your island. Now, this is after Musk claimed, in all caps, I should note, last year that, quote, Epstein tried to get me to go to his island, and I refused. Musk's representatives did not immediately respond to CNN's request for comment for explanation for those emails and that contact. And speaking of distancing and denials, recall what President Trump's Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said just last year about a 2005 encounter that he had with Epstein at his Manhattan townhouse.
I say to him, massage table in the middle of your house? How often do you have a massage? And he says, every day. And then he gets weirdly close to me. Ooh. And he says, and the right kind of massage. And in the 6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house to my house, my wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again.
Cap, that nigga went back over the next day.
That was 2005.
Yeah, that nigga went over the next day when his wife was his wife was fucking folding some clothes. He went over there to get a massage. Stop it, Slime. Stop it, gang. Stop it, bro. We not believing none of y'all. I'm gonna give it a beam. I'm not believing none of these niggas, bro. I think they all was getting they all was busting a nut on that island. They all was getting their rocks off. Let's keep it a bean. Bro, it's just too unlikely for me that only Jeffrey Epstein was the weirdo, bro. Bro, that's what I'm saying. If you mentioning this, I ain't saying you did what they saying you did, but you was around them while they were doing some shit and you might have did some shit. I don't know what's going on. This shit don't look right.
Speak directly to them. Well, I don't know what you're speaking to. I mean, if there's frustration with, quote, the entire process, same here. I mean, you have a situation where for many, many years, nobody even breathed a word about Jeffrey Epstein, and then all of a sudden it was all anybody would talk about. Listen, victims of Mr. Epstein have gone through unspeakable pain, and there's nobody that should say anything differently. I hope that the work that the men and women within this department have done over the past 2 months hopefully is able to bring closure.
And tonight we are hearing directly from Jeffrey Epstein's survivors who are angry, some of them frustrated that their names showed up unredacted in the files that came out today, despite what we heard from the Justice Department about a pledge to prioritize their privacy. More than a dozen of the survivors issued a new joint statement. It reads in part, this latest release of Jeffrey Epstein files is being sold as transparency, but what it actually does is expose survivors. Once again, survivors are having their names and identifying information.
Damn. All right. Hey, Anybody who's in there, again, I'm not protecting nobody. And I'm unlike other niggas, I'm not vouching for nobody. Your name should not be in that type of shit. You feel me? And everybody acting surprised, y'all look guilty. So that was your man's for 20 years. And it took 20 years later for now you be like, oh, he was doing that? Come on, bruv. That was your man's. That's your man's. Like, what you mean you never knew he was doing that? You were friend with him for 20 years. All of a sudden, we get the files, we reading it, you're naming it. You like, oh, shit. Nah, he tried to set me up. Yo, Bill Gates, stop the capping, boy. You know you was smashing them Russian models with that nigga, man. Stop the cap, man. Bro, I don't believe none of these niggas, but they always doing something. I'm not saying everybody was doing something illegal, but if your name from Pusha T, Jay-Z, Trump, some weird shit going up in there, I ain't gonna lie to you.